Vanglorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United front.
Tell it.
What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square, solid, and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick a can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K, 1K.
Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Mastering the Mind series. This is episode 2, broadcasting live here on Friday, 9-ish PM Eastern Standard Time. Got a few minutes here. Then we got another show, 10 PM Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing the spotlight here with a multi-talented entrepreneur. We do a Black Business Spotlight with CEO and straight up boss lady, Mia Monet. So make sure y'all check that out at 10 o'clock. If we here, tell a friend and tell a friend. Wherever they're listening to, make sure that they come over to the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Do the Knowledge Radio. DOTHAKNOWLEDGERADIO. So to recap, on week 1, we were speaking about what is a master, because the series is dedicated to mastering the mind. So we had to define and give some examples of what a master is. And the first step that we deduced from the master is that the master began as an apprentice under a master. So now, as we look at this and delve deep into the mind has been loosely reported to be defined as faculties. So this is a place where life begins. This is the gestational place where life begins in the unseen world of self. So it's two halves of the same whole that come together as one in the observable place, just within the cranial region that starts to talk about mind. In psychology, they call it brain. So when they begin to speak about mind, they're really referencing brain. They're referencing cognitive functionality. They're speaking about functionality into the physical world. Yet, they speak about things from the unseen perspective in regards to mind. They're talking about brain and chemical functions and neurons firing off in the cortexes of the brain. So they're speaking about unseen activity that manifests in the seen world. So this is as far as they go. They deal with cognitive functioning. They deal with, situational or directional aspects in regards to that when they talk about frontal cortexes and all of the various aspects in which they deduce brainwave activity and how brainwave activity in your central nervous system affects the entire functionality of the body. So the central nervous system uh, that has key functioning systems in the body that affect your overall function. So when the outside world begins to talk about mind, they speak about what they can observe. There's another aspect to brain that is unseen. You cannot see thoughts. You can only see thoughts when they're made manifest in the physical world. Just as you cannot see the seeds that you planted under the ground while they're in gestation, as we spoke about in the last episode, until they break ground. The evidence that something is growing underground, though, is the weeds that surface. Just as in the womb, the evidence that something or someone, is in the gestational period in the womb of the mother is the mother begins to shape and form, and bodily functions and additions come along with that responsibility of mothering nation. Just as things begin to change within the person, the brother or the sister, in the mind, as they begin to be cognizant of what has appeared to them in their mind's eye or the unseen, they become connected to it. You know, this human that comes out of the womb of the mother begins as a seed that is planted, a seed that needs to be cultivated, that needs to be looked after, that needs your undivided attention in the gestation process, in the developmental process, in the lifespan of the seed. So when we begin to look at the mind is the doorway between the seen and unseen world. The seen and the unseen world, that doorway, that passageway. So when we look at the earth we see in dualistic function. We have two planes of existence on the earth. We have the terrestrial and celestial plane. So when we deal with that in regards to mind, we begin to look at mind in the same fashion. We have the celestial plane that with your physical eye, you can detect about 10% of it. It's visible to you. And in the terrestrial world, when light hits this terrestrial plane, you can see as far as the eye can see. But when we talk about mind and thought, the light is you and it illuminates. So if you close your eyes and you can no longer see physically, after a while, the light comes in. After your vision is adjusted to be able to see. So your mind's eye causes the pictorial images in what we see. So the mind, if your mind is fixated, if you master your mind and your mind is fixated you will begin to produce those things that you see in your mind's eye. You remove the limitations and your connections and adherences to them. You begin to delve into mastery of the mind towards the elevation of your existence. You would hear phrases like, if it don't mind, it don't matter, or mind over matter. It's telling you that this unseen power, this unforeseen power that exists within you has a direct effect on what you see and how you see what you see. Your mind. Then they say things like mindset. This is a compound word where the unseen is dealing with a set of a metrics or a measuring stick in regards to how you move. Your thought patterns and behavior is built upon your mindset. So if they say you have a growth mindset, you're continuing to elevate. And if you have a fixed mindset, you exist in a place where you have arrived at the place where you want to be and you no longer seek elevation. So look at these instances in regards to what is necessary for you to reach your goal. Your goals, your aspirations, your life's mission, aims, objectives, and purpose. How are you operating? You're operating on wherever your mind has you to be. So now we deal with the conscious mind and the unconscious mind in the realm of psychology, or we deal with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind in regards to that. We're talking about layers and facets of the mind. So this is why they have things like mind control. You hear a term like mind control. So when you are honed in on what you're looking to obtain, you control the aspects of your mind and you have them fixated on a particular thing and you bring it to you. They call that the law of attraction. So if your mind is fixated on brain function in its central nervous system, if in your mind something hurts, it hurts in the physical world. You could see something happen to somebody else and you feel the pain from it. You could experience what they call vicarious trauma through these cortexes from experiencing something through your eyes or through your mind's eye, the actualization of the experience. You can look at someone getting beat and you feel it in your body as if it's happening to you. So those who are in a position of influence, not necessarily power, use these tools to elicit an emotional response from you. They know what to say, they know what to play, they know what colors to display in front of you to elicit whatever kind of emotional response necessary. They use language, they call it neuro-linguistic programming. So all of these things there to alter the mind. So all of these tools that are readily available from the world, you can use these tools in your arsenal to change your condition. They have this thing now, and everybody's mind is focused and fixed upon this vaccine. This mind control or this mind altering state that we're in, succumbing to fear and all of these other things. They're telling you about a vaccine. And in the vaccine trials, They can bring in 100 people, 50 of them, they call this a blind study. 50 of them get the vaccine. The other 50 of them receive an inoculation, but they don't get no damn vaccine. And then they study how the people are operating towards health or wellness in that regard based off of what's being reported from them. Because we're dealing in the realm of symptomology. So the symptoms that present in regards to the people who contracted the COVID virus, they have narrowed them down to characteristics, traits, and behaviors. And with this vaccine, they're looking to eliminate them. Not eliminate them, excuse me, to suppress those symptoms so they don't present anymore. And when you do this double blind study, as they call, they don't know who got the vaccine and who got the placebo. So I'm thinking about the placebo effect in regards to this and how powerful the mind is. That you can inject someone with something, or you can inject something into their thought stream, in their vestigial cortexes, and they experience it just like someone that is actually happening. This is how powerful your mind is. This is how powerful that realm of the unconscious or subconscious is. This is how powerful you are, because this is your mind. When they start talking about, universal law, the first universal law is the law of mentalism. All is mind. So when you start saying that all is mind, all this exists is within your mind. Your reality, your circumstances, your conditions, all of these things are in your mind. So if you give it credence and hold in your life, you give it power. You empower it to exist. So all that exists is you. That's how teachers have taught us. All that exists is you. So when you're dealing in your mind's eye, you're dealing in the aspects of self that create your reality. So this mind state, or this mindset, or these things that are set in your mind, or these controls that are there, this is with all your design. This is from all your design. This is the character you want to play in your own story when you're looking at the mind, when you're looking at your consciousness, when you're looking at your experience from the celestial to the point of entry into the physical world. And when you enter into the physical world, most of us lose our celestial point of origin. It's a part of the process. Queen Mother E. Africa, in her book, The Timeless Dynasty, this beautiful science fiction novel gives us a blueprint from point of origin, or before point of origin, into point of origin, into the incarnation experience. Beautiful book. Go get it. The Timeless Dynasty. So again, looking at the mind in these aspects, I believe I'll probably do a part 2 to this, looking at the mind and what mind is and how it affects motor skills, gross motor skills, and cognitive functions and developmental processes. This is the aspect where which the mind is associated with memory. And one of the greatest conductors of memory is pain. In martial arts, one of my teachers taught me that mind follows pain. The mind follows pain. One of my teachers, Nasuam Banu, says that the body goes the place that it knows. So, in regards to what we know in this experience, the difference between us being in what they call a dream state and in this reality is pain. You can hurt yourself in your dream and you don't feel the pain. So, when you pinch yourself here, those neurons send signals to your brain that says, "Oh, this hurts." So what if you mastered that right there on the base level? I remember in martial arts we had to put clothespins on our body. You know what clothespins do to your skin? It elevates it. And you have to sit there with all of these clothespins on your body and just deal with it. And then other aspects you had to train with it. So you got these clothespins on, you still training, you punching, kicking, blocking, you defending yourself. So your body could be in a state of pain. But if your mind is not cognizant of that pain, it doesn't exist. So somebody could hit you or hurt you or poke you or stab you or whatever, and you could continue on defending yourself. Your mind is not in that space to where it knows pain anymore, where it knows exhaustion anymore. All of these aspects that go along with a psychology. So if you can't be distracted by physical pain, fasting is to teach you how to master your body so that your body, even though it's craving for something that has become natural to it, feeding, eating, you're no longer in a space to where it has a power over you. You have a power over it. So you won't be in a position to where you're doing things because you got to eat. Now you're led by your appetites and desires, not things that serve you well. So just like with that kind of physical pain, that kind of emotional pain, that kind of spiritual pain, all of these things come together, and they come from the same source code in space called mind, known as brain in the physical reality. So I think we're going to deal with just that right here. We got another show here in a few minutes, and we'll be good. So next week, we'll be back here 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope this was good precursory work. And then we can come back and delve in some other aspects of the mind. And, like I said, the series is going to be interactive. We're going to have some guests on. We're going to have some other, things that's going on and happening with the series because we're really going to delve into the mind. So catch us back here next week, 9 p.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time here on Do the Knowledge Radio. Leave some comments, share with your friends, let's get a dialogue, let's see what's going on. And I want to know, what do you think about this series thus far? Do you find value in it or not? I got some great responses last week. I definitely don't want to be here wasting anybody's time. So if you're good with it, let me know. And we'll be back next week 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch us here in a few minutes on our Black Business Spotlight with me and Monet. So until next week, peace, love, Black Power. Yeah.
Knowledge. Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? So no more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm a African. I'm a. Let's get
And
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.